All right, movie buffs, buckle up because today we're going to break down the opening pages of 3 screenplays. We've got The Transient, Sepia, and a summary of Whispers of Shadows to dig into.
And let me tell you, just glancing at these first few pages, you'd never guess these stories could be connected. But we'll see what we find, right?
Right. The Transient hits the ground running, a man on the verge of death, glimpses of a newborn, a grieving widow. Even a violent crime flashes across the screen. It's a whirlwind. What do you think about a screenwriter starting a story this way?
Bold move for sure.
I do.
It's like they're grabbing you and saying, hey, life, it's a fleeting thing. And it can be beautiful and brutal. Creates a tone that's chaotic, yeah, but also makes you think.
Totally. And then, just when you think you can breathe, bam, hostage situation. Talk about tension. But amidst the chaos, little clues pop up. A death certificate, someone whispers, losing faith in death. Is the screenwriter messing with us?
I don't think it's that simple. Those little details feel very intentional, like they're clues to make us question everything we're seeing. Is this about a man losing faith in the idea of death? Or is there something deeper? Don't forget, these first few pages, they're the screenwriter's playground.
Okay, so then we meet Matt, the filmmaker in The Transient. He's successful, charming, makes jokes about a short film being based on a true story, which, spoiler alert, it's not. But when his girlfriend, Ethel, starts pulling away, we see cracks in his armor. How do you think the screenwriter uses this relationship to tell us about Matt?
I think it's really clever, actually. See, Matt's charm, his little white lie about the film, those could make him seem kind of shallow, maybe even unlikable. But showing us his strained relationship with Ethel, especially with his sister's illness in the background, it adds depth. We see that underneath he's carrying pain, maybe even guilt.
You know, that reminds me of Sepia, the second screenplay. We meet Bernie, who's really hung up on this idea of trust and betrayal, especially with his best friend Ellie. It's like he's trying to convince himself that their friendship was somehow safer than a romantic relationship, immune to heartbreak.
And then, boom, the screenwriter reveals Ellie's betrayal. It shatters Bernie's perception of their bond. He has to face a harsh truth. Even the strongest bonds are vulnerable or complicated, you know?
And how does he cope with this shattered trust? He becomes obsessed with the camera he gets from a mysterious old man. Not just any camera, a human reflection camera. Talk about a screenwriter's dream crop. What kind of stories do you think we can tell with something like that?
Oh, it's a goldmine. This camera, it's not just for pictures. It becomes a symbol of Bernie's need to control everything, to see what's hidden, even if it's painful. And the fact that the screenwriter connects it to losing faith, just like in The Transient, that can't be a coincidence.
Good catch. It's like both screenwriters are pointing to this fear of being lied to, of not trusting our eyes and ears. Bernie, he wants to use this camera to protect himself from more heartbreak. He even tries it on his girlfriend.
Yeah, trying to expose her true nature. It's risky, right? Once you start digging for hidden meanings and motives, where do you stop? It's a dangerous game, and I think it's going to have consequences for Bernie.
Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about Whispers of Shadows. This one starts with a chase scene. Our main guy, Albert, is running for his life from, wait for it, shadows.
And not just any shadows, right? They're drawn to light, which makes everything feel very paranoid and unsafe. Like the screenwriter saying, even in the light, nowhere is truly safe.
And talk about not feeling safe, we meet Mike, who's dealing with some serious anxiety, popping pills, in denial about his daughter's arrest.
Right.
Definitely running from something. But is it the shadows themselves? Or something deeper, internal?
That's the question, isn't it? And here's the interesting part. Mike, he dismisses AI at first, calls it scary, but he's surrounded by technology, uses it to avoid his problems. It sounds like our screenwriter is setting up some irony here, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And it gets even more ironic when he gets stuck in a bunker during the shadow lockdown. And guess what? The only thing for company is an AI. Be careful what you wish for, right?
Like our screenwriter loves a good dose of irony. But it's more than that, don't you think? Mike's stuck facing the unknown, the very thing he's been running from.
It's like each screenwriter, in their own way, is fascinated by this idea of confronting your demons, right? Whether it's a threat, a struggle, or what's hiding in your own mind.
Exactly. And by putting these characters through it, they're forcing them, and us, the audience, to face those fears and anxieties head on. It's almost as if these writers are holding up a mirror, to our own anxiety. I mean, haven't we all wanted to run from our problems or just try to control things we can't?
Totally. And speaking of control, let's go back to Bernie and his camera. Being able to see hidden truth in the present, that wasn't enough. His girlfriend, Stacy, she drops another bombshell, this camera. It can reveal what someone's deepest desires are. especially if they're hiding something.
Whoa. Like taking the eyes are the window to the soul, to a whole new level. It's not just capturing reality, it's exposing what drives us, even if we don't realize it.
And to make it even creepier, Stacy says the pictures have to be developed with sepia film. The colors get inverted. It's the only way to really separate truth from lies, she says. Gives me like darkroom magic vibes. But why sepia? Why not just black and white or color?
That's a great question. Think about sepia tone. Nostalgia,
Right.
right? Longing for the past. And Bernie, it's like this camera is making him face not just the present betrayal, but the ghosts of relationships past. All those doubts and insecurities that he still carries.
Interesting. It seems all three of these screenplays are playing with this idea, how the past casts a shadow on the present. For Matt, it's his sister, her illness, the guilt that he couldn't save her. For Bernie, it's his friend's betrayal. That history might repeat itself. For Mike, he's haunted by his brother disappearing years ago. Clearly hasn't dealt with it.
And it's not just that the past affects them, right? It's how they cope.
Yeah.
Matt, humor, storytelling, that's his defense. Bernie wants control, this illusion of certainty this camera seems to offer. And Mike, he's all about avoidance, medication, distractions, anything to numb the pain.
Speaking of Mike, let's go back to that bunker scene. He finds a hidden room, eerie blue glow. The screenwriter's really piling on the suspense here. Not only is he trapped with this AI who might be alive, but now a whole secret room.
Raising the stakes. Just when you think it can't get any weirder, the screenwriter throws this at us, and who or what he finds in that room.
Right. It's Adam, his bandmate, the guy he left behind when the alarm went off. The question is Adam really there, or is this like a Valium hallucination?
That's what's brilliant. The screenwriter doesn't tell us. Makes us question if we can trust Mike. Is it a real reunion? A chance for Mike to redeem himself after running away? Or is it all in his head?
I'm thinking it might be in his head, especially with that whole be careful what you wish for theme. Remember Matt joking about his film being true, then boom, hostage situation. And Bernie, obsessed with the truth, but his camera might backfire on him. Seems like every time they try to control things, the screenwriter throws a curveball.
It's a reminder, right? Life's messy. You can't control it, and trying to just makes things worse. And that's what makes these stories so interesting. That unpredictable part of us, the messy relationships, how the past can still have such a grip on us.
So we've got these characters, each wrestling with their own anxieties, their pasts. But taking a step back, do you see any bigger themes, anything that connects these three screenplays?
Definitely. One thing that jumps out is how they blur the lines between what's real and how we see things.
Yeah.
It's like each screenwriter is holding up this, I don't know, this warped mirror to their characters, makes them and us question everything.
We see that in the Transient, right, that opening, blending life and death, joy and sorrow. Like the screenwriter saying, buckle up, reality's a wild ride, especially on the edge of existence.
And in Sepia, that worked reality, it's right there with that camera. Bernie, he wants to uncover the truth so badly, but it shows a deep fear of being lied to, of not trusting his own eyes.
Which connects to Whispers of Shadows, too, right? That paranoia. But it's amplified by Mike's anxiety. The medication he's taking. The shadows become his own issues, you know? What's real and what's in his head? It's all mixed up.
Exactly. And this blurring, it's not just a story device, is it? It reflects something about us, about right now. Think about it. We're flooded with information, different sides to every story, technology that can change what we see and hear. And no wonder we're all a little paranoid.
Like these screenwriters get that, right? This unease we feel that maybe things aren't as solid as we thought. But even with all that uncertainty, there's hope too, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Because facing those fears, dealing with this messed up reality, it can change these characters. Think about Matt, starting to let Ethel see his vulnerable side. Or Bernie, maybe he'll realize that real closeness, real intimacy, it takes more than just secrets. And Mike, being stuck with the AI might be the thing that makes him finally deal with his past.
It's like they're all on these journeys, right? Trying to find their way, hitting bumps in the road, but seeing glimmers of something better along the way. And that's what makes these stories stick with you.
Totally. Don't we all relate to that on some level? We all have those shadows we're avoiding, anxieties we're trying to handle, and questioning what's real. That's part of being human.
So whether you're diving into these screenplays or any story that grabs you, pay attention when things get uncomfortable, when a scene makes you wonder, wait, is this real? Because those moments, as unsettling as they can be, they often reveal something true about ourselves and the world around us. And that's what this deep dive is all about, right? Until next time, keep exploring those shadowy corners of storytelling.